The Book of Enoch is one of the most fascinating books in the Bible. It's full of incredible stories about angels and demons, about giants and secret knowledge. And it all revolves around one man, a man named Enoch. Now, Enoch was unlike any other man that we find in the Bible. He walked with God, and he was so righteous that when God decided to send a great flood upon the earth, he said, "Enoch, build an ark. It's going to rain for 40 days and 40 nights. Every living thing that you bring onto the ark will be kept alive with you. 7 pairs of every kind, male and female, and a male and female from every species. You shall bring them into the ark to keep them safe." So Enoch built the ark exactly as God told him, just like Noah. In fact, they are the only 2 men in the Bible who built an ark by divine instruction. But Enoch was different from Noah in one very important way. Because after the flood, when Noah came out of the ark, he planted a vineyard, and he drank wine and got drunk. And Ham, one of his sons, walked in and saw his father naked, and he told his 2 brothers, Shem and Japheth. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it at the entrance of the tent and went backward. But Ham did not do this. And Noah cursed Canaan, Ham's son, saying, "Cursed be Canaan. A servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren." Now this is the only time that we see anyone cursed in the Bible, and it's strange that it was done by Noah, considering that he was the one who preached righteousness before the flood and received the divine promise. As long as the earth endures, seed and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night, shall not cease. Yet Noah cursed his grandson. Well, some say it's because Noah was angry that Ham mocked him while he was drunk and made fun of his state of drunkenness. Others say that Ham committed some form of sexual immorality, but this is not explicitly stated in the text. What we do know is that Enoch never sinned, and because of his perfect walk with God, he was taken alive into heaven. In the book of Hebrews, the author says, "And Enoch, the 7th from Adam, prophesied about the one whom he saw, the Lord, and he said, Behold, the Lord came with 10,000 of his saints. And Enoch was not, when he was taken from the world, found to be, for God had taken him." But before his translation, he had this to say about the judgment of the wicked: "Behold, the Lord is coming with 10,000 of his saints, to execute judgment upon all, and to convict all who are ungodly among them for ungodliness of their deeds. For the time is near, for the Lord is drawing near." His invisible footsteps are already sounding above the earth. Enoch knew that God would come again to earth, and he knew that this would happen soon. This is why he wrote down everything that he saw in the book that bears his name, and his revelations were staggering. He saw the heaven of heavens and the heavenly light. He saw the place where the souls of the righteous are kept until their resurrection. He saw the fallen angels, the demons, how they fell from heaven and were cast out. He saw the fallen angels rebel against the Most High and waged war against the host of heaven. He saw Michael, the archangel, lead the heavenly hosts against the rebels. And he watched as the demons were chained and thrown into the abyss. He learned the secret names of the fallen angels: Azazel, Ramiel, Tamiel, Kakabul, Azazel, and more. He learned their leader's name was Samieza. He saw the punishment that awaited them. The fallen angels were locked away and sealed in the abyss, waiting for the day of judgment when they will be released again, and the battle of Armageddon takes place. He also saw the birth of the giants. When the sons of God, the fallen angels, mated with the daughters of men, beautiful girls who were born of the first humans, Adam and Eve, they produced children who were giants and ferocious. They were called the Nephilim, and the sons of Seth, and they grew to such a size that they caused great destruction wherever they went. Enoch saw all this and recorded it. And after he wrote down everything, he was taken up into heaven. But there is one more thing that he saw. After the giants and the fallen angels were dealt with, Enoch ascended higher and higher, until he stood before the throne of God, and then he saw the likeness of the Lord. In the Ethiopian version of the Book of Enoch, we read, "And Enoch was exceedingly grieved, and thus I was troubled in spirit and saddened, because the vision was grievous, which I had seen from the beginning of the earth until that day. And as I watched, behold, the Lord of spirits sent forth his angel, and he cried aloud and said, Lift up Enoch, and hearken, and hear what he saith, and write down what thy hand can reach. For thou art a man of the new earth, and I am about to show thee the things that are hidden and concealed." So Enoch continued ascending until he stood right before the throne of God, and he saw his face. He heard God speak, and he saw all the heavenly secrets, the things that no man was ever meant to see. But then God told him, "Don't tell anyone about these things. Only your generation will know it." So Enoch returned to earth and lived the rest of his life preaching about the things that he saw. But he knew that eventually his generation would forget what he told them. That's why he wrote it all down in the book that still bears his name. And yet, despite all these incredible visions, Enoch remained humble. He knew that he wasn't greater than Noah, Abraham, or Moses. He knew that if God could part the sea for Moses, he could also change his ways. He knew that if God could save Abraham from certain death, he could also heal his sickness. He knew that if God could guide Israel out of Egypt, he could also lead him to safety. So the question is, what does Enoch's story teach us? What lesson can we take from his life? Well, let me share 3 thoughts with you. First, Enoch was a man who walked closely with God. He feared God and turned away from evil, and that's why he was chosen to be taken into heaven. Second, Enoch was a man who wrote down everything he saw and heard. He didn't keep any of it for himself, but shared it with others. That's why we have the Book of Enoch today. And third, Enoch was a man who remained humble. Even after seeing God, even after being taken into heaven, he didn't brag or boast. Instead, he continued serving God and preaching his word. That's why Enoch is a role model for all of us who want to walk with God. But let's return to the question I asked at the beginning of the video. What did Enoch see in heaven? Well, he saw many things, but one of them was Metatron. Metatron is the archangel who acts as God's scribe and records the prayers of the righteous. He's also responsible for guiding the righteous to their heavenly reward. Some people believe that Enoch was actually Metatron in disguise, and that when he was taken into heaven, he became the scribe of God. That would explain why Enoch saw all of the heavenly secrets and why he wrote down everything he saw. It would also explain why Enoch remained so humble, because he knew that he was only a servant of God and not greater than anyone else. Of course, none of this can be proven from Scripture. All we know for sure is that Enoch walked with God and that he was taken into heaven alive. But it's fun to speculate about what happened to him after he left Earth. Did he become the archangel Metatron? Who knows? But one thing is for sure. Enoch was a man who walked closely with God, and that's something we should all strive to do. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, Shalom.